question for you, maybe after this ball. We've seen the ball hitting around. Here are two batsmen that Comilla would want dismissed. Do you think he would still go with the off spinner, or he would look for a seamer maybe for an over or two?
Well, I reckon you have a very good point here, Roshan, because if there's nothing much happening for the spinners, then why not you bring on your extra seamers? You have options for seamers. I think perhaps just have a look at the couple of overs from this spinner, whether he can make early inroads, whether he can, because he does tend to take the ball away from the left-hander. So probably that's the kind of hope that Tamim Iqbal has. Maybe, just maybe, he might just find an edge.
Yeah, my point was, because these two are so critical, if you can dismiss them and with the ball nipping around, might be the best time to bowl a seamer.
He's still struggling, isn't he? Yes, he's struggling. And he needs to be careful because they wanted to take that single. In the end, no problem whatsoever. But have a look at the running, especially from Chris Gayle.
Yeah, he's hobbling. He's in serious pain. He's in serious trouble. I think he might abandon the thought of short singles. He might just want to just hit sixes. And well, they certainly have something to discuss. They certainly have an issue. They certainly will have to make a decision. In a mess. Do they want to have Gayle back?
I don't think so. You really don't want him to come back. Cannot have a runner. Let him play. Shot, it was pitched up. Again a six. That's why Roshan thinks that they should have a seamer here. And I think he's right. 22 without loss.
Assalamu alaikum, Baba. বিয়েটা করেই ফেললাম, দোয়া করবেন। পেমেন্ট বিকাশ করলে দুটো লাভ, এক ক্যাশ নিয়ে ঝামেলা নেই, আর দুই কেনাকাটা হবে স্মার্টলি। তার মানে ক্যাশের চেয়ে বিকাশ ভালো।
নেট শেষ, এখন কি করব?
চাচার মতো এয়ারটেল টংও জানে তোর কি দরকার।
এখন স্টার 999 ডায়াল করে এয়ারটেল টং থেকে জেনে নাও তোমার স্পেশাল ইন্টারনেট অফার সহ আরো অনেক অফার। এয়ারটেল, সর্বাধিক প্রোটিন সমৃদ্ধ একমাত্র মেরিডিয়ানি রিয়েল চিকেন চিপস। মেরিডিয়ান চিপস। লা 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 লাইফ বয় দিনে 5 জীবাণুদের ধুয়ে নিয়ে অসুখে নেই কোনো ভয়। লাইফ বয়। স্যার লুজ প্লিজ। এমন ঝড়ের গতিতে সব লিখে ফেলতে ম্যাটাডোর বল পেন। এতে আছে জার্মান হাই ফ্লো ইঙ্ক, লেখাকে করে সুপার ডুপার ফাস্ট। ফাস্ট এন্ড ফাস্ট।
Jarveda Coat Antidote Long Life আছে Nano Additives যা দেয়ালে
to have Shoaib Malik bowling. But about Chris Gayle, I think the concern could be to just make sure that he doesn't do further damage to his ankle. This is that last ball. Just see, the problem for a spinner is this is that to the 506. But the problem is if you're not doing anything with the ball, then it becomes very easy.
Yeah, we've just heard news. Bangladesh Cricket Board has announced a new test captain. No surprises there. Shakib Al Hasan takes over from Mushfiqur Rahim. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the true champions in the Bangladesh outfit. Just going down the leg side again. Another hobble. Could be trouble. Could be trouble. They were not throwing to the bowler's end, but Chris Gayle is in trouble. I'm not sure whether this is the right thing to do, because who knows whether Chris Gayle could aggravate this. They will want him for the final.
If they win,
they're hoping they will. So they will want him fit. They don't want him to aggravate it and make it worse.
yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma because they would want him to score runs. First and foremost, they want to win this match. Only then you're thinking about playing the final. So what do they do?
But I think they got Brendan McCullum. They got Brendan McCullum who could play this role. And the other thing here is that Johnson Charles, he's been the man who has been going. It's not Gale. So Johnson Charles could be trusted and backed to just play the way he's playing. Now, what Rangpur might hope for is for Johnston Charles to play a Chris Gale today.
Yeah, the other thing which comes to my mind is that we saw what he can do without even running. He hit 14 sixes in the last match, Chris Gale. So perhaps thinking ahead, maybe a message is to, okay, if it's in his zone, go for hitting some big sixes. Oh, it was there. Bit of a turn, inside edge. It's not a bad delivery. It's turning out to be a very good over, Roshan, because it's just given him one run and it's creating the pressure. The spinner, Shoaib Malik, doing the trick for his team.
Malik is different as a spinner compared to Mehdi. He looks to put more revs on the ball. Shoaib Malik has been very good in the power play. His ball just back to the length. But generally good. I mean, if you're going at 100% or just over 100, you're doing brilliantly as a bowler in T20 cricket.
Little bit wide and it's crashed through the cover. What a shot that is. Great piece of timing. Went like a rocket.
He pushed it through quicker. Look at the speed, 113. And the other thing is, with nobody behind that extra cover fielder, he made the mistake of giving him so much of width. Look where he's bowled it.
Yeah, look at that shot, Roshan. That's a cracking shot. He smashed that through the covers and all along the carpet. A little bit short on that occasion. Just couldn't find the gap. Straight to the fielder. They won't a chance a single. After 4, it's 27 without loss.
প্রতি বছর দেশে হাজারো কোটি কিলোমিটার রাস্তায় গাড়ি চলে শুধুমাত্র মোবিল ইঞ্জিন অয়েলে। সেই মোবিল এখন পাওয়া যাচ্ছে নতুন স্লিম প্যাকে, যার ইজি গ্রিপ, ব্যবহারের স্বাচ্ছন্দ্য আর ফিজিক্যাল ইন্ডাকশন সিল ও ব্যাচ নাম্বার দেয়। আসলে মোবিল অয়েলের নিশ্চয়তা। মোবিল, চালু থাক আপনার উন্নতির যাত্রা।
নাচে মশলা নেই কেন? দাঁড়াও, মশলা আনছি।
অ্যালপেনলিবে জাস্ট ফিলস ক্যান্ডি, কাঁচা আমের ভেতর দুর্দান্ত মশলার ফিলিং দেয় মশলা মাখা কাঁচা আমের স্বাদ।
আমি মশলার বাহানা মুখে দিল
কিছু কিন্তু তৈরি করতে পারে অসাধারণ সব গল্প। কিভাবে জানতে হলে যোগ দিন আমার সাথে ভ্যাসলিন হিলিং প্রজেক্টে। শুষ্ক ত্বক বা ঠোঁট ফাটা আমাদের জন্য খুবই সাধারণ, কিন্তু সুবিধাবঞ্চিত মানুষের জন্য এমন সমস্যাই হতে পারে ভয়াবহ। তাই ভ্যাসলিন হিলিং প্রজেক্ট ওদের ত্বকের সুস্থতায় সাহায্য করবে। বাংলাদেশের একমাত্র 100% পিওর পেট্রোলিয়াম জেলি ভ্যাসলিন। এভাবেই তৈরি হবে সাধারণ জারের অসাধারণ সব গল্প।
বাইরের দেওয়ালের উপর ধুলো টিকতেই দেয় না। এপেক্স আল্টিমা ভ্যাকুয়াম ইভাপোরেশন পদ্ধতিতে পরিশোধিত মোল্লা সুপার সল্ট, যাতে কোনো ক্ষতিকারক কেমিক্যাল থাকে না।
নে, তুইও নে।
মোল্লা সুপার সল্ট, যে লবণে মাথা খোলে।
এখন গান শোনো কোনো ডেটা চার্জ ছাড়া। Yonder Music, download the #1 music app now. Exclusively Robi এবং Airtel userদের জন্য। No money for music.
And that is an example. Now, that was the last ball of last over. Just before it was delivered, I said it's been a good over so far. It was until that. 11 came from it in the end. It's the prized wicket of Chris Gale. Mohammad Saifuddin is going to take over from the Shah Cement end. He's got some important wickets for them. This is his BPL this season. 15 wickets from 13 matches, an average of 20. He's been decent. Yeah, Roshan in the previous spell was crying out for a seamer to come on. And finally, he's left the box and they brought a seamer on. Or maybe he went downstairs and had a word with someone. But I think the strategy was to try and bowl the slower bowlers to make the likes of Gale and Charles and even McCullum make the pace. But now, inside the power play, Tamim has turned to his young speedster. McCullum won't mind this. He prefers the ball coming onto the bat. He'll just want to settle in there. They'll know they've had a setback. They'll know what he's capable of. Yeah, Roshan was crying for the seamers to come on because the wicket's been under lights and covered over the last 2 days. But this is why, because there's a little bit of shape. You can see that ball going away. We haven't seen much so far. And again, even that delivery. So obviously, overcast conditions. Pitch has been covered over the last couple of days. The ball's coming onto the bat, but it's certainly swinging for the bowlers. That's very nice. You can see he was expecting that to stay straight. Looking to turn that to the onside, but that shape is why he got the leading edge to it. So absolutely spot on there. Roshan Abhisinghe wanting the seamers on early.
That's not good from Saifuddin. That's a gift. Johnson Charles doesn't need to be in any kind of form to hit that kind of shot. Full toss on leg stump. Thank you very much.
You know what can happen, Galton, is when the ball hasn't been swinging throughout the tournament and then you get the ball start swinging, you can get greedy. And I think that's what he's done there. He's trying to get that ball to start really straight because it's been getting a little bit of swing, and it can happen to the bowler sometimes. He's just got to remember the ball is swinging and he's got to keep it in the right place, and he'll get it to swing too.
You've got a brief glimpse there of Hassan Ali shaking his head. I think he's telling himself, and maybe he'll have a quiet word with Saifuddin as well. He's a senior bowler, even though he's a relative newcomer to the game. Now Saifuddin, against the Rangpur right-handers in this tournament, he's got them out on more than one occasion. And you can see it's been full or just outside the off stump. The line, not the line he's bowled the last two deliveries. That's the one Tino was mentioning.
That's where you want to be. If you can start off from off stump or just outside and the ball swings, then you're all right. But if you start leg stump, middle and leg, and you're expecting it to swing and it doesn't, then that becomes automatically a bad ball. And it's the power play that we're in at the moment, so only one man back on the left side field. And he's got to cover fine leg, deep square leg, and the mid-wicket area.
Good finish to the over, good finish to the power play from the Kumila Victorians. They've got rid of Chris Gale, but Rangpur have put 45 on the board.
Before I click, I want my pretty lips. Pout, 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 I want my pretty lips. স্ট্রবেরি লেমন আর অরেঞ্জ ফ্লেভারে মেরিল লিপ কেয়ারে আছে অ্যাডভান্স সান প্রোটেকশন। তাই শীত গ্রীষ্ম বর্ষে যাই আসুক, হাসুন প্রাণ খুলে। লেমন আর স্ট্রবেরি ফ্লেভারে মেরিল লিপ কেয়ার এখন পাচ্ছেন 5 টাকা কমে। 10টা থেকে না তোর এক্সাম?
স্যার আসতে পারি এতক্ষণে? আসো স্যার, লুজ প্লিজ। স্যার, লুজ।
এমন ঝড়ের গতিতে সব লিখে ফেলতে ম্যাটাডোর বল পেন। এতে আছে জার্মান হাই ফ্লো ইঙ্ক, লেখাকে করে সুপার ডুপার ফাস্ট অ্যান্ড ফাস্ট।
লাক্স জেসমিনের চিরচেনা সৌরভে ফ্লোরাল ফিউশন অয়েলের আধুনিকতা, যা দেয় ফুলের মতো কোমল আর সুরভিত ত্বক। আমার সৌরভ, আমার পরিচয়, লাক্স।
খোলা পরিবেশে মুরগির পিছনে ছুটাছুটি করলে কি রিয়েল চিকেনের মজা পাওয়া যায়?
সর্বাধিক প্রোটিন সমৃদ্ধ একমাত্র মেরিডিয়ানি রিয়েল চিকেন চিপস, মেরিডিয়ান চিপস।
Double seam for the moment for Kumila.
Full, and McCullum was not going to hold back there. Led off up in the circle. There is a long on, but he certainly gave that a kitchen sink. Johnson Charles on strike now. Four scores, 26, 2, 1 and 9. That's all he scored throughout the BPL. What I've liked is that in this 38 today, from just 23, he's gone out there and been aggressive from ball one. That's the cricket that he plays. Like that, short, pulled away. There's two men back on the onside boundary, but all they can do is watch the ball sail away for 6. I was just talking about today's innings has been different. He's come out here, he's been positive and played the strokes he knows he can play. 69 meters, that's 6, and he peppers the onside boundary well and does it once again.
That's the shortest of the boundaries, and he just picked his spot. That was asking to be hit. 126 Ks off the bat. Alameen will have to be careful with his length. Once again short, this time from outside the off stump. He swings it around. Graham Creamer down there.
He's just in that kind of a zone. When Johnson Charles gets into the zone, watch out. He's been inconsistent even for the West Indies when he plays for them or in regional cricket. Had a couple of big innings in the CPL earlier this year, but again didn't quite carry on. Played along with Andre Fletcher.
Thought about the single, decided against it. Quite rightly did that. You know how good a fielder Marlon Samuels is. Brilliant directed to get a wicket in the last game. But yeah, look, if a Johnson Charles comes out and he gets you a whirlwind 40 or a whirlwind 50 at the beginning of the innings and gets out, I'm okay with that because he's done his job. Goes out there and doesn't play his game and spends 4 or 5 overs at the wicket, ends up with 8 or 10 runs or maybe even 15 and then gets out. His role is to go out there and make sure the team has a good start, and he's gone and done that today. The ball to go in the 7th over, 54 for 1 on this surface, is a really good start.
That occasion, it was just wide outside the off stump. Charles didn't try to premeditate. 55 for 1 after 7, and the umpire gives both teams a bit of a breather with a smile. At 6:30 they got that wrong by 2 minutes. 6:32 sharp, the rain has just come over the Sher-e-Bangla National Stadium.
Yeah, and those are the pictures here, Gautam. Disappointing. Such an important game, the penultimate one of the AKS BPL 2017, powered by Shah Cement, and all we've managed so far is to get 7 overs in. 55 for 1, and for the fielding team, the Camilla Victorians, the all-important wicket of Chris Gayle. He had a slight mishap on the field earlier. For those of you who were with us, the ball was thrown towards the stumps, looking to get a run out, and unfortunately his left foot went over the ball. He was just in so much discomfort, really couldn't run between the wickets, and just tried to hit the boundaries. So this is it, you can see it coming down, and unfortunately for now, the cover's coming on, and there won't be any cricket in a little bit of a moment.
Just to put things in quick perspective, this is not your typical monsoon downpour. This is a depression in the Bay of Bengal, and often this kind of rain tends to settle in. We don't want it like that, but that's what tends to happen with the weather system we've got. Yesterday it pretty much settled in and rained the whole day. Now the scenario is this: we are still okay in terms of time. There's still time to be made up for a full 20-over game. There will be a cut-off period after which they'll start losing overs, and we can have a minimum of 5 overs aside. So with the Rangpur Riders having already played 7 overs, the bare minimum we can now get is a 5-over target for the opposition, that's the Camilla Victorians. If even that doesn't happen, then of course we know we'll have to look at the points table at the end of the group stage, which does favour the Camilla Victorians. Super over as well. Super over as well. A few glum faces after 7 overs. We knew it was going to come. Both the captains mentioned at the toss. Camilla decided to field first. With that in mind, Mashrif Mortaza said, well, if the rain comes, there's nothing I can do about it, but we'll still have to play our best cricket. They have played their best cricket, except for the loss of Chris Gayle, which was slightly unfortunate, but Johnson Charles more than made up for that. That's what happened to Chris Gayle. That's the only wicket of the innings so far. He was in a bit of discomfort, twisted his ankle slightly, having stepped on the ball, and didn't look quite comfortable out there.
Yeah, and it was his back foot, and that's where all his weight goes, of course, wanting to transfer to go forward to play any shots. So a lot of discomfort he was in, and they would be happy to see the back of him. Of course, that whirlwind innings of 126 and just 51 balls in the last game. So this is what's happened. Rangpur Riders put into bat. Johnson Charles has been at his devastating best. 46 from 26. And from right at the top of the innings, he was getting after the bowlers. Chris Gale just managed 3. And Johnson Charles has just been joined by Brendan McCullum.
Yeah, Mehdi Hassan was starting at the very top of the innings. He got hit by Johnson Charles for 3 out of the 4 sixes. And then Shoaib Malik stemmed the rod slightly before it was Mehdi Hassan who came back and took the important wicket of Chris Gale. We still haven't seen enough of Hassan Ali, just the 1 over. And we know that if they were to come back, he is going to be very lethal and very crucial for the Kumila Victorians. Now this is the standings at the end of the group stage. The Kumila Victorians are here because they topped the table, played against the Dhaka Dynamites in qualifier number 1. They lost. Dhaka have jet-setted it to the final on the 12th. Kumila get the second chance today to play the 4th place team, Rangpur Riders, who in the eliminator defeated the Khulna Titans. Now if it were to come to a scenario where we cannot get a result on the field of play, Kumila